That's it. Okay, so we have Dr. Olubunmi. Now, let's have a look. What are we going to be talking about?
Right, I've got a PowerPoint, so can I share it?
Yeah, please. Yeah, please do. Bunmi's brilliant. She's an expert on addiction, but she's also got so many skills with clearing the past, creating a great future. Very, very skilled, but a great attitude. As soon as we met, we went, we have to work on something together. Yeah, she's got really great. Yeah, carry on.
Right, okay, let me see if I can you see that?
It says it's start. There you go. It's there. Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, Jojo, I really enjoyed your talk and how we are pulling out of the lower density. But I think a lot of people are in survival mode at the moment. Their nervous systems are dysregulated. So this is where, this is important stuff, important work. So my topic today is from survival mode to future focus. And when I came across Anne, and it was purely serendipity. A friend of mine mentioned a lady that worked in the Middle East because I was thinking of working in the Middle East. And she said, "Oh, I know a lady called Anne Jersh, and you must connect with her and find out all the feedback about working in the Middle East." And so I did. And it was really weird because I knew kind of in my work there was something missing. And it was like the pièce de la résistance at the time. And I thought there's something that I need to study that's going to just clinch everything. And I actually didn't know what Anne did until I met her. And she said, specialize in future life regression. And I said, tell me more about it. And it was like, ting, 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 ting. I need to know more about this. And so that's when I went on to study with Anne. And it's been really integral in my practice and with nervous system regulation. So the topic is healing your nervous system through future life progression. So raise your hands, everybody. Now, probably a lot of you now are feeling relaxed and just in the flow. But in general, just kind of think when your normal day to day, just hands up if you're feeling, you feel constantly on, you're wired, you're not being able to switch off, or you're feeling exhausted, but you just cannot get to rest. Or you're feeling anxious and you're snapping at your partner and you don't know why you're snapping at partner and asking them to give you no eye contact or something. Or you're feeling numb and just completely disconnected. Everything feels colourless, everything just feels black and white. Or you're struggling to imagine a positive future. And now, many people are just looking at the future as pretty bleak. There's no future. So that is what I'm going to be talking about. So, meet your nervous system. So, think of your body as a control center. So, the nervous system, part of the nervous system, there's two branches to the autonomic nervous system, which is the fight and flight sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So with the sympathetic nervous system, everything speeds up. You're in fright and flight. You're running from a bear. It's a survival mechanism. You've dropped your phone down the toilet, or you're about to go into a board meeting, and you're stressed, and your heart rate goes up, and your muscles get tense, and you're prepared to to fight or run off. And so that's your inner alarm system, and we are wired for survival. Our nervous system is what I call an adaptive intelligence. It senses danger, it senses safety. The parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest, where it slows things down. You feel more relaxed, you can see the world through a larger lens, and it supports whatever recovery that you're going through. So when these two work together in harmony, that is regulation. So when we talk about regulation, we're not talking about never staying in sympathetic. It's about being able to be flexible. Your nervous system's flexible during the day, and you can go back to center. So regulation, as I said, doesn't mean calm. It just means that you can handle life and whatever throws at you. So that's what regulation is. So you can be clear-headed in a time of conflict. You can show resilience. You can rest, you can sleep, you recover. You feel present, you feel grounded, you feel connected to life, you feel connected to people around you, and you feel hopeful, you feel optimistic, and you feel positive. So that's what regulation means. It's being able to handle life and life's terms. So what is dysregulation? And it's basically when, and we hear about dysregulation when we get stuck in two extremes. And two extremes of the, I call it the activation arc, is hyperarousal, that's the sympathetic, and then in the hyperarousal. So when you're too much on, you're anxious, you have panic attacks, you can't think straight, you're very reactive, you're hyper vigilant, like something's going to happen to you. And I used to experience that quite a lot in addiction. I'm 18 years in recovery, and all of those the I could tick off in hyperarousal. I was constantly always, what's going to happen. And I didn't realize anything about nervous system regulation at the time, but those were my signs. And then there's the hyperarousal, which is too much. You're off, you're numb, you shut down, you can't think straight, you're withdrawing from life. You don't want to know. You don't want to. You don't want to hear, you don't want to listen. Similar to hyperarousal, where you cannot listen, you cannot hear, you just in your own world. And either aren't bad things, they're both ways to protect you, but it's staying stuck in those states, which is the issue. And more people right now are being stuck in hyperarousal or hyperarousal. So it's all about the wiring. So what are the causes of dysregulation? So it's rarely one thing and it can go deep. So this is just a generalization, but this usually builds up over time. It doesn't necessarily start on one particular experience. So for instance, childhood trauma, there could have been neglect as a child, violence, early experiences that really shaped your nervous system. Your caregivers could have been stuck in their own dysregulated state, so they couldn't offer you regulation. So right from the get-go, you're a dysregulated child. Things like chronic stress, work pressures, financial worries, relationship breakdowns, bereavement, these all start to contribute. Things like physical illness, chronic illness, pain, COVID infections, long COVID, fibromyalgia. Again, modern overload. We're listening to the news, poor sleep, people are doom scrolling. So, this is all having an impact on your nervous system. And then you're looking at things like systemic stressors, such as racism, inequality. These external pressures, which are all beyond our control, shape and mold dysregulation. So, what can dysregulation lead to? Mental health, anxiety and panics, attacks, depression, PTSD, bipolar, OCD, and burnout, and many, many more. Addiction is a big one, burnout, substance use disorders, ADHD traits increase. Physically, things like high blood pressure, IBS, people having chronic fatigue. Autoimmune diseases have absolutely shot up. Fibromyalgia, again, the huge increase in fibromyalgia and autoimmune conditions. These are signs of a dysregulated state. So they're not character flaws. They're not, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's wrong or anything like that. It's just how the body manifests. So dysregulation is at the root cause of many diagnoses. It's not just the surface symptoms. So just have a quick body check. And again, I'm sure a lot of you are all relaxed now anyway. But if you think back to, your general normal day to day, which you're at work or you're with your kids, whatever, just take that time to kind of reflect, and place one hand on your chest and notice what's happening right now, or what does normally happen. If you can kind of reflect on what normally happens with you. Is your breathing shallow or fast? Is it slow or easy, or are you holding it tight? For me, I have to be really careful not to do the shallow breathing. So I'm very conscious of my breath work. And normally for me, it's a clenched jaw. So I do actively spend quite a lot of time kind of just making sure I'm relaxed and my jaw's not clenched. Are your shoulders up by your ears? Or they dropped easy? Or you actually haven't even noticed? And then what about your thoughts? Are they racing? Are they scattered? Are they frantic? Are you panicking over them? Or can you think more or less during the day calmly, calm or clear? Or is it foggy? Or you just can't think straight? So, whatever you've noticed, there's no wrong answer. It's just this is the information that your body's giving you. So, it's listening to your body. So, when we talk about the window of tolerance, uh, how much can you handle while staying present, clear, and effective? And when we look at the window of tolerance, that's your optimal zone. That's you're present, you're grounded, you're connected, you're collaborative, you can think clearly, you can listen, you can hear, you can respond, you feel optimistic. Whereas in hyperarousal, there's rage, anger, overwhelm, reactive, impulsive, can't think straight. And when you're hyper aroused, you're shut down, you're numb, you're dissociated. There's normally fatigue, sleeping a lot. This is more burnout and nothing, you don't care. You just basically don't care. So the aim really is widening that window of tolerance. Because what happens when there's stress, there's trauma, the window of tolerance actually narrows. So you're not being able to handle life, as I said, on life's terms. So it's about widening that window of tolerance. So just thinking positive, that's just not enough. When we're talking about this toxic positivity and just think, yeah, you just think your way out of it. I couldn't think my way out of addiction. I couldn't think my way out of burnout. So I knew for me, 18 years ago, that was a load of rubbish. That in fact for me, it was after my seventh rehab. A friend of mine suggested that I see a lady who, unfortunately, she's passed away. She's a shaman, and that I go and see this lady, a shaman. And I just thought, why on earth would I want to see a shaman? I've never heard about any of this before, holistic medicine, anything. So I was desperate at the time. I said, I will go and see her. I will go and see Anna Coach, she was called. I'll go and see her. And within 2 sessions, I just knew that I was going to be okay. And that was 18 years ago. And I hadn't picked up a drink since, completely, utterly recovered. Burnout, no nothing. And I just thought, why did that work? But nothing else. 7 rehabs, psych wards, none of that worked because it was all about using the mind, thinking your way out of it. Um, Things like the 12 steps never worked for me, anything like that. And I thought there's something in this. There's absolutely something in this. It's not just me imagining it. I started to feel, despite all the things, all the consequences, divorce papers handed in rehab, you know, done for drink driving, being tagged for 3 months. I knew I was going to be okay. So that's when I knew that it was working with that shaman that something had shifted and it wasn't a mind thing. So when you're dysregulated, the survival brain does take over, you know, uh, logic and willpower just shrink. You can't think your way out of it. And your body's in charge, not your mind. So the positive thinking, you cannot reach those parts until your body, your nervous system is regulated. So the healing starts in the body, not just the mind. So that's from Dr. Stephen Porges, The Body Keeps the Score. So if the body needs to feel safe before it can, what if a deep guided trance state could signal safety directly to the nervous system? And this is what I liked about FLP. And big shout out to Anne because it's been phenomenal for me and clients as well. So we kind of know what future life progression is. um, but yes, what is the difference between FLP and just general visualization? So with a hypnotic trance state, FLP uses hypnosis to bypass that critical conscious mind, just allowing the nervous system to feel safe at a deeper level. So it's body based, but this is the subconscious mind based, and it reaches the subconscious directly, where also the nervous system, patterns are held. So it's not just the thinking mind, which shuts down under dysregulation. We can use the subconscious mind. So with FLP, it is a beautiful, active exploration. It's not passive. And clients actively explore future timelines. Those make those choices and return with live experiential memory of a regulated and purposeful life. And especially with things like addictions that, we talked about it, and that we don't experience a future. We don't experience time. It just completely shuts down. So being able to access parts of our subconscious mind, to be able to find that hope, that north node, that reason for moving through whatever we need to move through is essential. So the science, why does FLP work on the nervous system? So the brain responds to imagined and real futures just the same way. So the brain activates the same neural pathways as a lived experience, so that the nervous system can't fully distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. So that's one positive benefit. The trance state the FLP uses is inherently in the parasympathetic mode, where the heart does slow down, the muscles relax, the threat response quietens down. So that person will have a little window of opportunity to be able to be in the window of tolerance and to be able to know what that feels like while they're going through the process. And FLP does signal that shift in the nervous state. And it shows when the nervous system detects safety, real or imagined. So FLP future, real, the scenes generate precisely those cues. And each FLP session the client may have, it builds that neuroplasticity. It builds that feeling of safety in the body. So very much FLP is very much a part of what I work with clients. And as I said earlier, the future feels frozen in many people. They can't see a future, it's bleak. FLP kind of reaches, as I said, it quietens the critical mind. The subconscious mind's fully accessible. The scenes feel real. The body receives the safety cues. Then the nervous system starts to regulate. And, many clients actually surprise themselves in how calm they feel, and they can take that with them. They can take that visualization with them, and practice. So for highly dysregulated clients, FLP can be and is normally the most accessible route into future positive healing. So how FLP heals the nervous system. So dysregulated nervous system, you're in survival mode. With the FLP induction, that trance state begins to start to regulate that nervous system. The subconscious mind then opens, so that resistance drops in the client, in the mind. They're able to experience that future self with a calm and purposeful manner. And this is where neuroplasticity starts to take place. It starts to rewire. So it isn't just a glimpse of the future, it is the nervous system regulation experience. And every session builds on that. So again, very, very beneficial for a client if they have regular sessions. So really the takeaway on this is your nervous system's not broken. So there's no shame or guilt around if you're stuck. It's doing its job to keep safe. That's what it does. It's when it's stuck in a particular state that it's the issue. And it's the cause of many mental and physical conditions. So it's not a character flaw. But the window of tolerance can be widened with the right tools, including FLP. Healing starts in the body, so you cannot think your way to regulation alone. It has to be felt in the body, it has to be somatic, or it has to be it's subconscious. So an FLP that translates suspends that critical mind just for the period of time to give the direct access to the subconscious where the nervous system patterns live. So every FLP session I feel is a nervous system event, and every future self visited is a neural pathway built. So you were never meant to survive forever. You were built to thrive. And so your future self already knows this, and FLP is how you get to meet them. Thank you very much.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was fabulous. I love the way Olubunmi is so honest and so raw. She's written a book, and the book is so good. You really get gripped by the book with her honesty, of what she's been through. I always remember her one thing in the book, which she won't mind me mentioning, was uh, when she was in rehab for after numerous times, they all said she's the one that won't make it. That they actually
Mm,
thought she was the one that wouldn't make it. And what we've talked about is
yeah.
working together. And what we want to do is go in. We actually met up with somebody very senior in the prison service. We'd love to go into prisons because, or work with kids that have gone off the rails or whatever, because they can't see a better future. I come from a
Yeah.
scumbag background. That's my background. I grew up with people. It's normal to do bad things. It's normal
Mm,
to drink, do crazy shit. It's just normal. And so when we grew up, it wouldn't occur to us or the kids growing up in my background that there could be a better path. It's just the norm. You're going to go out, you're going to get
mm,
pissed, you're going to get up to no good. You don't aspire to more. You might aim at making a lot of money, but you don't really think. So addiction is normal part of my path. That is
yeah.
normal where I grew up. But at the age of 11, you're smoking and drinking, and it just continues. A lot of fun, actually. Enjoyed myself, but I don't do any of it anymore. Haven't done for a long time. But I love that raw honesty of me because most therapists, I probably shouldn't say it, most of them haven't got a sodding clue about addiction. They talk about all their little techniques and they've learnt this and da da da, but they don't know addiction. Bunby knows
Mm,
addiction, and I can really see the difference. So we will do
yeah,
something fabulous together because
definitely.
that made sense. Everything you said made so much sense. Everything you put together there makes so much sense about the neuro pathways, about because it's exactly what you said. We don't see when you've got an addictive nature, you don't see beyond it.
No.
You don't
Mm,
once you start to focus and see it, you do start to create the neural pathways. You start to attract different things. So
that's right.
that was
And for
so sick.
manifesting as well, manifesting
Well, this is
and the
it.
regulated nervous system.
We're going to manifest getting out there and working with people that really need it because I
We're on the
think
way.
addictions are the new plague. I think we've cured so many diseases, but I wrote about this in I think my fourth book. I put quite a lot on addictions because it's not just drink and drugs. Addictions are rife, and it could be the internet. There's so many different things, and I think, yeah, I think there's a lot of work to do. We're going to do this,
We're doing
Bunley.
it. We're
We're
doing it.
doing it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was amazing. So I'll be sending you over Bunmi's email address, her offer, your next step, a 60-minute nervous system consultation. Um, it's where you understand how your nervous system hold the key to everything, your health, your healing, your ability to step into the future. So I'll send this over to you. I can tell you, Banmi's very, very skilled. It'll be very, very interesting. And yeah, we are just on remote control, aren't we? I mean, exactly what you're saying. I love that.